I felt good. Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's me, it's Mike Lepre, the King Mike L. This is Legit Fantasy Basketball from Legit Fantasy Sports. How you doing? How's your Thursday night? It's like 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm feeling pretty good. It's a pretty good night. How are you doing? And when you wonder how you're doing, I always think gentle. I always think the genius Kev. Kev, you've been known to, soothe, the girls back in the day. We know what. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, King. I don't know if I was ever known for soothing, but I appreciate that positive recollection. I guess we'll call it. But I'm doing pretty good.
Right? Little CVB, little diamond girl, little diamond girl, and you're in the mix. I know how that goes.
Yeah, I think I'm more ready to switch gears to basketball than forget a past that never existed.
All right, when it comes to basketball, we got to bring in Coach TJ. Coach, how are we tonight?
How are you?
Oh, we're having a good time. Having a good time. Basketball, it's the Final Four. NBA's like heating up. It's like perfect. This is a great time to watch basketball, I would think. You know what I mean?
It is.
I have like a bunch of things I want to talk about. The first thing I want to get out of the way was what's the deal with the Andre Drummond toe thing? Like, what was that? What was that karma? Is that the gods of basketball? Like, what is that? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, let's give him the least possible injury to get him out of there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hurt the guy. Don't break nothing. His toe. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I feel awful because I'm a Lakers fan. I wanted to see him play.
How long's he out for?
That's the thing with a toe, right? You never know. That's the thing with toe. I'm not joking. Toe injuries, they never know. They can never tell you. That's the worst part about this.
I know when you hear like an NFL outside player, a quarterback, or a wide receiver has turf toe, kiss the season goodbye.
Exactly. You never know.
It's like that. I don't know what's going to happen with Andre Drummond and his damn toe, but something tells me the Lakers will be clicking on all cylinders when the time comes, and that's in about 6 weeks.
You better tape that toe up, Kev. What are you thinking about that? Does that make you nervous?
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing about it because it's everyone's like all up in arms about Drummond going to the Lakers, and then I just heard it like cat. I was doing something else, and I just started dying. I was just laughing about it. Such a I don't know, just some reason it's a perfect storyline. Hopefully it ends his whole season, and that would be freaking hilarious.
That's my point. You know what? I guess because I've been looking into rookie cards so much, I've been keeping my eyes on the rookies more, for what they're worth. And I think there's like 3 or 4 that might be legit players for the rest of their careers. Like, I think you might have got like 3 or 4 stars this draft thing with maybe Halliburton, Ball, what's the name?
Moran.
I don't write things down. And then who's my 4th? One from the Timberwolves. Anthony Johnson, right?
It's not
Edwards. Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
I don't write it down. I should. Anthony Edwards.
And I don't know if he's going to be an all-star, but I'll tell you this: he's explosive. Like his posters. I don't know if kids still do posters. I think now they do like glue ups, like stickers. But he puts people on posters. Like that's how he's explosive. I don't know how good he is though.
If he can work on his inside game a little bit more, and he can get a little bit better on defense. Like you said, he's one of those kids that'll, if he can get by you one step on a bigger guy, he's going to dunk. He gets up way over everybody, so he'll dunk on anyone. So that's
comes in mad too. I like guys who dunk angry. Like
Westbrook.
Like Durant dunks a lot, but it's all smooth and it's kind of like I like guys who come in there like looking for contact. Like
Westbrook.
Best at that, but I like see guys come out attack like he does, especially he's young. It takes some courage.
You know what? I keep saying his name because it's true. It's Westbrook. Westbrook dunks the basketball like he hates the rim and the ball. Like he gets up to the height of it. He's like, he just wants to get rid of it and dunks it.
Westbrook plays the game like he hates everything.
Yeah. Did anyone see that insane game he had? I only saw the stat line. It was like over 35 points, over 20 assists, and like 14 rebounds, something like that. Did anyone actually see that game?
I did not watch, but I got like multiple text messages. Like, did you see Westbrook? And it's like, of course I did. That would be the night that I was not staring at NBA basketball, and here comes Westbrook with a historic night. And then the next day he starts like talking shit to Stephen A. So I thought it was just perfect.
I got a text the other night by my son. It was like later in the night, and all it said was, "Oh my God, Luka." I'm like, what the hell does that mean from your son at 11 o'clock at night? What the hell is he talking about, right? Little did I know Luka went off the other night. He had like a ridiculous amount of points. He was shooting from everywhere. Luka Doncic, he may be one of the best pure offensive players in the NBA, period. Just period, as far as pure offense just comes out of him.
What's crazy about him, and you said his stat line at the same birthday is like better than LeBron's was.
Yeah.
And LeBron came in out of high school, so it's not like he can say, well, he missed his 4 years due to college. They're the same age. They both came in at 18 or 19, whatever the hell they are. And Luka has a better stat line, points, rebound, and assists than LeBron did at the same phase, which is nuts.
Yeah, I love the kid. Kev, what do you?
Oh no, he's absolutely amazing, and like he got off to a little bit of a slow start this year, but he's like unbelievable right now. He's and, King. I don't know if you remember when we were first talking about doing this show. We were trying to pick a team to watch, and you suggested I start following the Mavericks because of style of play and because of Doncic and everything, and that's definitely paid off because he's really got it going unbelievably right now.
And with Porzingis and when the Unicorns running, it's like they could be a good team if they just I don't know. They need like a tough guy, I think.
I think they need a piece or two, but as long as those two guys are there, they're going to be terrific. And the West can't always be this good forever, can they? Like at some point, the West has to be. It's starting to level a little bit, but once it balances out, then I think Dallas they got a good program over there, and everybody knows Mark Cuban treats his players terrific, and there's no taxes in Texas, and it doesn't snow in Dallas. So there's a lot going on for Dallas, and he's a guy. He's so unselfish. You got to feel like he can bring in a guy or two that wants to play with him. But you put Bradley Beal next to that kid and forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
And somehow they're like they lost 10 out of their last 12. I just don't know. I don't understand it.
That West is brutal. There's no someone had sent me when Philadelphia was up, I don't know, 3 or 4 games in the East, somebody sent me everyone's got to hate on you. So it was like, well, Philly's only, 2-7 against teams with winning records. Said, well, yeah, I bet the Nets are only 2-7 also because all the good teams are in the West. So when you're if you put Dallas in the East, they're the 3 seed. Like they're right there. The problem is they're playing in a loaded Western Conference. Just the same thing with the Celtics. If you put the Celtics on the West Coast, they're a lottery team, no question about it.
All right, but here's the issue with the Mavericks, right? You are the Mavericks. You're losing going into half. You're losing to a team you shouldn't be losing to. Who's the guy that's in that locker room that calls them all a bunch of P words? It is like let's get going. Who is that guy in the Dallas on the Dallas team? There isn't one.
Honestly, I'm looking through their roster right now to try and find a tough guy, and the answer is there is no tough guy.
They don't have that guy. You got to have that guy. You have to have that guy. That's how the whole thing works. You know what I mean? So you take out a piece and the goldfish dies. You didn't put enough stuff in the water, whatever it is you got to do to keep those things alive. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a tough guy in that rotation or somewhere around to keep guys in line.
And not only that, they're the same. It's probably going to be the same guy, but they don't have anybody physical either. They're not a really physical team. You look at them; they're kind of light. Even Paul Pine down there, he's a big guy, but he's light. I'm sure that's something they'll have to address if they're going to make the next jump. But it looks like they're going to be in the playoff stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, I was looking at the math. I was looking at the math wrong in their schedule. They're actually 6-4 of their last 10. Whatever. I made a mistake.
Geniuses notice their mistakes. Yeah, but that's the thing with him. Like, so he is. To me, he's a bright spot. Before we move on to another bright spot, you ever have a neighbor who happens to let their dog, like the neighbor happens to have, like, say maybe like 3 or 4 kids, and say that neighbor has a dog that's like a really fat lab that this neighbor happens to just let run in other people's yards, and the kids treat it like it's a joke and it's fun. And let's just say you've told that neighbor that dog, if he comes in the yard again, there's a good chance that your dog might just leave the tail. So I'm like, look, have you ever had to tell a neighbor, look, please, the last time the leash broke, you broke a leash on me, a $20 leash that you hold on the button to stop the dog, because my pit bull lunged at your dog so hard for the neck, not for anything else, but the neck, as it stood next to my puppy. That's a mastiff Labrador that's going to weigh 154 pounds. It's already 33 pounds at 12 weeks today. Ridiculous. So please, neighbor, if you can hear me, stop on the dog room around. It's a really cute, like, lab golden retriever you got, and my dog's going to kill it if you come in the yard again. Like, that's not my fault. All right, I'm sorry. Kev, you're legal somewhat. What would you do? Actually, TJ, real estate, so you maybe know some real estate law. How do you stop somebody from letting their dog run in your yard because your dog's going to kill it soon?
I mean, they sell these things at like Home Depot. They're like, I don't know, they got poles and pickets. They're called fences. Build a goddamn fence, and then his dog can't get in the yard. No. Honestly, are they going to do something to my dog when my dog attacks that dog because it came in my yard? If it's on your property, no, there's really nothing they can do. It's your property. If your dog goes across the border over there to track down this retriever.
That's the thing. Like, no, I've let no one else let the dog out other than me, just in case she goes for it, because no one in my house can stop a pit bull from running if it wants to run other than me, confidently. So it's like, I'm not letting anybody else take her out, because right now that dog keeps running in the yard. And it's like, get it out of the yard. It's like, my dog's going to attack it. Get it out of the yard. They're not,
It's going to happen quick, and it's going to be messy, too. Pit bulls don't play around.
I thought it was going to happen today. I'm like, here we go. I said it out loud. Here we go, because the dog running around. I went down this thing. You know what I had to do? I felt bad. I had to shame my dog. I walked outside. I looked down at the dog. I said, don't you start doing it again, and don't put me through this. My dog was like, all right, I won't do it, because my dog's really emotional, and she just went over in the corner and she did her business, and I brought her in. But my son doesn't scare her like that.
Of course, because our culture is a disaster. You know what's crazy though? If your dog kills that dog, they're going to say they're going to put yours down because it bites.
That's my point. That's what that's what I just asked you. I'm worried about, like, would they be like,
I mean, the guy
probably put yours down because of what it does.
That doesn't mean that the town that you live in isn't going to send somebody to knock on the door and say, yeah, your dog's in danger. Yeah.
That would be the worst thing. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Anyways, I don't know how I went to there.
Luka Doncic to like the dog case on Judge Judy, but it's fine.
Well, you just don't want to see another dog get bit. Like, nothing's worse than something like that. And, it can be prevented.
And the kids see it, and the kids are crying. Nothing good for that.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. But anyways, the new dog I got is a gem. I mean, he is a moose. He is, really that big. 33 pounds at 12 weeks. That's like, it says you're going to have a giant. I put it into the puppy calculator. Came out. You will have a giant dog. It didn't even say big, just a giant. Oh, shit. All right. Let's talk about the Final Four. Let's talk about these 4 teams. TJ, what I want you to do is rank these 4 teams for me. Tell me who's the best to the worst, obviously. But how I realize matchups, cause different people to win, different people to lose. But I mean, on paper, as a coach scouting 4 teams, what's the best team? 1 to 4.
It's Gonzaga, and as a coach, it's like watching ballet. What they did the other night to dismantle USC in the first half, without taking threes, without running pick and roll, like they were just playing basketball almost like the freaking 80s or something. They were running the Lakers fast break. They had the point guard there making bounce passes right, left, looking this way. It was so easy for him. Then they go inside to Timmy and forget it. No, Gonzaga's as perfectly a coach team as you'll ever see. They don't even have – I know they got a couple lottery picks, but it's not like these are a bunch of NBA bodies out here just beasting people. They're just great basketball players, and they play together so well. I think the second best team – probably Baylor. I think that's the matchup everybody's looking forward to. And then, Houston and Texas, you can rank them with whatever order you want. Houston's going to give Baylor a game, though, because they're not soft. But Gonzaga was a thing of beauty this week.
All right, so then you'd probably put Houston 3 and UCLA 4th if you had to?
Yeah, if I had to, yeah, for sure.
So what does UCLA have to do to win the whole thing? For real, what are they going to do?
Well, they probably want to hope that like 3 of Gonzaga's starters get like chicken pox. Like I don't see a
So
possibility.
you're saying they can't beat them? Like,
I really don't think they can. Not only do I think they can, I don't think they can come close. Like Gonzaga's won like their last 18 games by double figures, and UCLA is no better than USC. In fact, USC is a better team than UCLA during the course of the season. So if they could beat, I don't know what the final score was, but it was a 20-point win as far as I'm concerned. If they can blow them out of the building, what UCLA, I suppose, will try and slow the game down. I guess that would be the thing they can do is like really try and shorten the game. But that's hard because Gonzaga scores on like 60% of their possessions. It's almost like when you were playing the Patriots when Brady and Morse were like having that year where they just could not be stopped. Like the second you punted, the game was over. Like for UCLA, the second they miss a free throw or turn the ball over, the half is over. So I think the whole game is got to be such nerve-wracking to play against a team like Gonzaga because every time you make a mistake, they score, and it's like 3 seconds later.
Yeah.
So, Kev, is it just a guarantee that Gonzaga beats UCLA? Is it that bettable where it's a guarantee? Like there's just no chance?
Well, look, the Gonzaga USC game was crazy because it's not like USC isn't talented. USC had the friggin' Mobley brothers, no slouches, and the 7 feet, and so everyone thought, okay, well they'll bang it inside, they'll try to keep it close, and they were down so fast, so quickly. Coach TJ and I were texting during the game with Brother Ray, and it was over so quickly. It was just ridiculous. Gonzaga sliced them apart, tore them apart. They beat them on the inside too. TJ, you mentioned his name earlier. I forgot the guy's name. It was like player of the game for Gonzaga. Had a great game inside.
The guy was like flexing his muscles after getting ones, and his arms are no bigger than mine. But he was like, none of you guys can guard me. It's like, so impressive.
It was unbelievable. And so you look at them against UCLA, and like you can't say there's no chance. Who knows? Maybe they go 40 for 40 from 3-point range, and everything they throw up falls. You could that's about the only way it's going to work. Or like Coach TJ said, three of the Gonzaga players get sick. But the only bet I would even consider on this one, because the line is crazy too. It's Gonzaga minus 14 right now, which is insane for a Final Four. I think that's I heard this today. I didn't verify it, but apparently it's the highest spread on a Final Four game since the field got expanded to 64 in 1985. So it's Zags minus 14, and right now that's minus 115. So it's going to go higher. So the only thing I would consider is, and I bet USC in game plus 16 and a half. And I'm like, oh, they got to keep it at least within 16. Lost by 19, and it wasn't even a 19-point game. It looks like a 35-point blowout. So I would only look at the under, because right now it's 145 and a half. And the only hope there is that like Mark Few says, you know what, I don't want to beat a team by 40 in the Final Four. So I'm gonna tell everyone, I'm gonna call off the dogs in the second half. That's the only bet I would look at for that game.
You know what? It's official, and I want to actually thank both of you gentlemen for helping me get to this point.
Don't even say it.
But I am betting on UCLA.
Don't even say it.
Because you're saying it can't be done. And you made the mistake of comparing them to the 2017-12 New England Patriots, who did get beat by the New York Football Giants. So I think UCLA is going to win the game. How about that? How about I'll be the only one to go out and say that UCLA wins this game. They win this game.
You can't just say it. It's easy to say it. Put $500 on it, and then I'll believe you mean it. Because I can say it too.
I'll put 150. How about that?
That's my
500.
And show the slip.
That'll be my 500. I'll show you the goddamn slip.
Yeah.
I'm betting on UCLA now. You think I'm scared? I'm not scared.
No way. No way.
Spend money right and left on stupid things I'll never use, never need. 150 on UCLA. I got a goddamn look at this shit. I'm not gonna play UCLA.
Autographed by Peter Griffin, who doesn't even exist. And
oh, that's great.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm sitting. I got nothing on the walls.
Actually, you know what's funny? My wife has watched this show before, and she always says two things. One, she says, "You have so much stuff going on behind you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I like it." She's like, and she goes, And what's with your hands? Because apparently, guys, during shows, I go. She's like, all of a sudden, your hands get really big.
That's good.
Oh my God, watch it. I didn't notice that because there's things that you pick up when you do shows like this, right? Like I helped Kev out once when he first started out because he wasn't realizing something. And then there's like this. I don't know if we ever told you about it. It's it's funny. People always say, like, every time I would cut to somebody, they would say, it's funny, or it's a funny thing, and it was never funny. Nothing's funny about what you're about to tell me, but it was. Kev, go ahead. Explain that.
Which, by the way, if you run this tape back to about the 19-minute mark, you said, what's really funny?
I bet I did.
Yeah. But he pointed out that I was saying it fairly frequently. So after that, every time anyone would say it, he and I would make eye contact and start laughing. But you don't pick up that stuff until somebody tells you.
Yeah, it's funny. The funny thing is, it's funny,
Yep.
but funny thing is, it's funny you should say that. It's never funny. There's nothing funny about what you're going to tell me. And then the female one is, for me, like for me, I like, you'd be like, yeah, well, what did you think about that game? And they'll be like, well, for me, it wasn't my kind of game. It's like, what do you mean for you? For me? And I catch myself saying that too, which is even worse. Because I'll be like, oh boy, I got to stop that shit. All right. Second game, then Houston and Baylor. That seems to be a closer match game. I mean, that seems to be a game like where Houston could have a chance, right? They're not completely like out of it like you think UCLA would be, right?
No, I think they do have a chance. I do, because Baylor's such a good shooting team, and they take so many threes that, if they don't make them, anybody can beat a team that shoots that much. Of course, Baylor's tremendous at shooting, and Houston attacks. They play great defense. They attack the rim. They're a strong rebounding team. I know Baylor's a good offensive rebounding team, but Houston, they had a couple of bumps in the road earlier in the tournament, but their rebounding got them through. I think they came back from like an 8-point deficit in 2 minutes because they kept getting putbacks. So I think that's going to be the better game of the two. For fans, for me, watching Gonzaga is going to be the highlight of my weekend. But I think it can be a game. I think you took Baylor to win, right? Did somebody have Baylor in the finals in this?
Wasn't me.
I had Baylor.
Brother Ray. Brother Ray had the whole Final Four.
Who is Baylor?
5.
6.
All right, let's even say 6. So, Kev, here's my question. If you teased it, you went and teased this game, it doesn't matter what you do with the other game. Maybe you just drop it down to -10, right? Gonzaga -10 instead of 14? And then
Yes, 4, yeah.
And then you take the 4, which would be there, and now Baylor's only favored by 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. That's interesting because I would it's.
I put money on that.
Most likely going to be a close one, so -2 is probably worth probably worth doing.
If you can get it down to 1 or 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Then I got a feeling this game's going to come down to the last 2 minutes. So if you can get the line down to 1 or 2, it's going to be a possession game. I mean, it's like flipping a coin at that point. I don't think Houston's. I think Houston's too relentless to get blown out, and I think Baylor's too good to lose by more than 5. It's going to come down to the end.
So, who would we take in a parlay? What would be your parlay for the college games, guys?
With the lines that they are, for me it would be Gonzaga and Houston. That would be.
You said for me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I did.
Are you talking like teasing it or a straight parlay?
No, either one. Either one. Give them something to bet.
I would probably tease. I would probably tease Gonzaga and Baylor. Both down 4.
Yeah, what we just said. What we just said. What I just said.
Yeah. So
I agree with you. Then me and you have the same. Then we should tell the people that that's what they need to go and bet. Kev.
yeah. Well, we just did. I think.
Gonzaga and Baylor with the teaser.
It's
drop
fun.
Gonzaga down to 10, and you drop Baylor down to 2. Golden.
Yeah.
Go ahead. DJ.
You get Baylor down to 1 and Gonzaga down to 10.5.
Even better.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that, TJ?
Yeah, if you're gonna go in that direction, if you're gonna tease, then that's the direction I would tease it in. If you're gonna just run a straight parlay, I think Gonzaga's gonna blow them out. I don't see. I've never been more confident about a pick in college basketball in like 5 years than Gonzaga running right over UCLA, like just overwhelming them with like speed and skill. It's gonna be great.
I I'm putting that bet in right now, gentlemen.
Here we go.
Let me ask this. So when you get Gonzaga and say Baylor in the finals, are you telling me that Gonzaga is just going to roll over Baylor too?
I think Gonzaga is going to beat them by 10. Yeah, they haven't played a single digit game in months, like months. And their conference isn't exactly the ACC, but it's those teams, they play each other tough out there. They come in this tournament, they just steamrolled everybody. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the finals game has like an 8-point spread. It would not surprise me at all.
Wow. So could we get a double-digit spread for the finals?
We could. If it's Houston, it might be. Yeah. Because I don't think anybody setting a line is going to think Houston can score, because you're going to score 80 to beat Gonzaga. Like, they're going to score. There's really nothing you can do about it.
I can't imagine there's been a lot of those finals with the spreads been higher than 9. Like, it doesn't seem like a very common thing.
I'm sure the NC State finals might have been like that in the 80s.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but even that high, like think about 10. Think about 10 in the finals. That's like
perfect game to win it. They said they played the perfect game to win the game, right?
Yeah, I'm looking back through their schedule. Their last game, they've won every single game by double digits except one, and it was on Wednesday, December 2nd against West Virginia. That was their third game of the year. They won 87-82. Everything since then has been by at least 10 points, and some of them have been by 40. It's absolute insanity. So when they play on Saturday, it'll be almost December, 4 months, 5 months? No, 4 months to the day of that last less than 10-point game.
Smashing everybody.
All right. Hey, it's getting close to that a half hour part, so I want to start rattling off some Friday picks. Kevin, if you can get the lines.
Well, okay, before we do that, why don't we talk about the tonight's games, because they're easier to do, because they're the
only game we got for tonight was going to be the Nuggets and Clippers. I was going to lead off with that because we already passed the 8:30 mark, which is the Hawks and Spurs.
Yeah, there's a few. Okay,
there's only one left.
So Georgetown was favored by 8 in 85. That's the big. Oh, Kentucky was favored by 14 in 96.
Oh wow!
And they won by 9. So 96 is the biggest line I can find, and this article only goes down back to the 80s. So yeah, we might get in that territory.
That's great.
We're gonna pick tonight's games.
Yeah. Well, the only one I think left tonight is Nuggets Clippers, because I think we missed the 8:30 Hawks Spurs, and there was 2 7 o'clock games.
I bet Hawks money line. I was hoping to get it, say it before we hit it, but obviously we just missed that. But for the Nuggets Clippers, the only thing I like on that one is because it's Clippers. I think +2 right now. So if you're going to do that, you might as well do the Clippers money line. But I like over 219 as a total.
On the Nuggets Clippers?
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Because I want to learn this. What makes you think over 219? What are you basing it on?
I usually go back and I look at point totals, and then I try to figure out schedule also. Like, and I don't have this one in front of me. I just have my notes on it. But usually I look at like the points scored, points given up, efficiency, so points per 100 possessions, different things like that. Then try to factor in any players that are out, and then factor in stuff like back-to-backs or streaks or things like that. But I try to do it mostly by the numbers. With a little factoring in on injuries, but I don't have time to do every single game. Like personally, this is one thing. King, the last show, TJ and I were talking about it. Like you can run systems in the regular season because the teams, you kind of know what they are. But as soon as the playoffs start, you really actually have to know basketball to figure to pick these games. Now we were saying that someone like TJ probably has a much bigger advantage than me, because I have to wait for the stats to kind of reset. And then look at picks again. But for this one, it's just kind of based on a fairly simple system.
You gotta have more confidence in yourself, Kev. You pitched that, and then you made yourself sound like you weren't.
The truth is,
in the room. It's like, come on, man, bang your chest. That's a good system. I mean, it's based basically on averages over 100. You'd like to see it on a big. You want to see like a large level of production before you make a decision on averages, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, when the playoffs start, you have to reset your systems because the teams play totally different in the playoffs, right? So if the Mavs sneak in and they play, I don't know, the Mavs are 7. If they play the 2, who I guess would be like Phoenix right now or something, or you can't just look at those teams' average numbers. You have to kind of factor in that it's a playoffs. There's a lot more intensity. They're not just going to cruise through it like it's a Tuesday night in March.
Agreed. I agree. Let's go through Fridays. I'll tell you what. We'll go through Friday's games. This time we'll come back and we'll grade our last picks because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect number. There's 10 games on Friday. We'll see which one of the three of us is the best.
I only have lines on 4 of them right now, so if you have any of the other ones,
you'd have to give me a second. I'd have to pull up the track.
The track
on my phone.
I don't understand why. Well, I guess I do a little bit, but it's kind of strange that some sites just don't have any of these lines at all.
The track always has numbers. They make them up if they have to.
They don't care. They just want you to bet. That's
Which
it.
is fun.
There's just some, I miss the track. I miss the horses, going upstairs and play the horses. I love playing the horses.
Why, there's no more? You can't go up there and there's no horse racing anywhere?
Not like it was back in the day when you went upstairs. There was smoke everywhere. You couldn't breathe. You were getting cancer that by the minute. You know what I mean? The dogs were still running. What?
They closed that area? You can't go
No,
area. There's like a million areas now. You can't find yourself in that place. It's like a.
I don't understand why they made that simulcast area so big.
Awful.
Are there that many people betting horses? I didn't
awful. We don't even want that area.
Yeah.
They want the old little area, a little smoky, dingy area. That's what they want, guys who bet horses, for Christ's sakes. Know your audience. You know what I mean? Know your audience.
But you go in there to bet horses. You don't want anything state of the art. You want a black horse.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Really. You don't have to give me. No, I don't need flickering lights in the back of the fucking reclining chair. I really don't. Yep.
The best stories I used to have of the track was I would sometimes take my wife up the track because my parents would be there. Now what's great is that my parents would never be together at the track. So my wife would go find my mom who's, at the slots, and then I would go upstairs and there's my dad in the track room, playing all the different horses. And there was this one horse track that ran that he always used to say, "Play the Bombers." And what he meant was play the long shots because it was only the first stretch. The races weren't around the whole thing. They were just the first stretch. So it's like almost like a sprint to me. So it's like that's when a long shot could win. But anyways, I'm going on and on about the track. I just missed the track because I'd go there. Like my wife would go do what she's got to do. I'd go upstairs. The best thing is I would sit down all the time with my dad, and it would take him a couple of minutes to realize that it was me. If that makes any sense. Like he would do that old Italian guy thing where you'd see, I'd sit down and he'd go, "Oh, hey." Like hey, took you that long? You know what I mean? Like, wow. Do it all the time. I don't know where it was. It made me feel great about myself. And then, you know what? Dark humor. But right before he was dying, he forgot who we were. He had a week where he just didn't know who we were. And I found one part so funny. We were sitting in his room, and he remembered my uncle somewhat. So he's bullshitting with my uncle, and I'm trying to sit there, and he said something, and I go, "No, that's not what it was, Dad." And he turned to me. He said something like, "No one's talking to you, buddy." And he sent me out of the room like this. I started laughing so hard because I could see in my dad's face that he didn't know who I was, right? He didn't know who I was. And this is how he would have handled me if he met me. Like, this is my dad. He was still being my dad. He just didn't know who his son was. So he turned to me and was like, "Get out of here." Like, you don't even know at the time. It was hilarious for me, maybe not so for other people. But yeah, he loved the track. So, all right, listen, I got 5 spreads, Kev.
All right, so you want more.
Do the ones you got. We'll do what we can do.
I got.
All right, I got tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I only got 1 point on the Denver Clippers game. That's interesting, man, because I could make the Clippers +3 and just bet a ton of money on it. The Nuggets +3. So tomorrow, I got Milwaukee at Portland. which is 10 o'clock. Holy Christ. I got 10 o'clock games tomorrow. Why do I not have the 7s?
They're in Portland. Portland's always 10 o'clock.
No, but I'm saying is why does the track only have 1, 2, 3, 4 games up on their mobile app, and all games are 10 o'clock?
Well,
Oh, they have one more. They have the Lakers. I have 6. What?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'll tell you, I'm taking Portland. I don't even need to hear what the number is because right now, Milwaukee's not looking right now. Like they're really not. They went out west. They beat the Lakers, but that's not really the Lakers. The Clippers blew them out of the building. The Knicks beat them. The Celtics beat them last week, and then they played the Celtics the first time last week, and it was like they won, but they didn't really belong winning, right? So I think Milwaukee is. I don't know. There's something not right there. You know, one thing they should do is not make Giannis be the point guard every possession. Maybe just limit that to the fourth quarter. But
You think that maybe we're in that zone that's like right before the playoffs when everybody kind of just puts it on autopilot. They settle into their little spot. You know what I mean? Our numbers really at risk right now. How many numbers really are at risk right now?
In the East, those 3 teams at the top of the East they really want to win the 1 seed, and here's why. If you get the 1 seed, you get to avoid the other 2. So if you're Brooklyn and you get the 1 seed, that means you're avoiding Philly and Milwaukee. If you get the 2 seed, you're going to have to play somebody before the Eastern Conference Finals. That's tough. So wouldn't you rather play, like, I don't know, Miami? I guess Miami's in line, the Knicks for that 4 seed. So, the games matter. I just think something's off right now. And they'll figure it out. But not by tomorrow night at 10 o'clock.
Kev, you want to give us the spreads, or should I ask Oprah?
All right, so you just did the Bucks, Blazers. Actually, I have one 8 o'clock game on here. Timberwolves and Grizzlies. So it's Grizzlies -7. Timberwolves at Grizzlies. Grizzlies -7.
All right, T-Wolves at Memphis. I got that 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right, you got Grizzlies -7. I got the other games.
You know, you get the feeling that Minnesota is just packed it in.
Oh yeah,
at least I do. There's no way they're going to win the game. That would be a game. I got to hear the other numbers, but teasing that down might be good because 7 is a pretty big number.
All right, let me run through. I'll just give you the spread so then we'll go back. I got Milwaukee -3.5.
Yep.
I've got the Suns -12.5.
That's huge. Oklahoma City. Yeah.
I got the Grizzlies -7. I've got the the Kings -4.5. Did they all just spare me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. Oh, and then I got that's the same game. They took it away from me. So that's all I got. I only got those ones I just said. Kev, what are the ones you have? Anyone else fill out that?
No, you just did it. You those are all the ones I have.
All right, so we're missing the Warriors at the Raptors, Rockets at Celtics, Mavs at Knicks, Hornets at Pacers, Hawks at Pelicans, Bulls at Jazz. That's what we're missing. That's a lot.
The NBA, you almost got to be in front of the computer at 6 o'clock to get the lines. We know that.
I can't. I'm trying different sites to get the spread.
You're not going to get them.
Let's go over the ones we have, and whatever. So, what do you think about the T-Wolves at Memphis? Grizzlies -7.
Yeah, like TJ was saying, the T-Wolves are done. They look like they're cooked and they don't care. So I've been high on Memphis lately. So we were, I think TJ, what you mentioned is possibly a tease in that one, which would be interesting because you get down to what, 3?
Yeah, and it makes more sense at 3 because it's not like Memphis is that team. It's more to make the bet. It's more of a reflection on how bad Minnesota is. But if you could tease that down and get the Kings out of push or something like that, that would be.
Does Memphis care though? I mean, does Memphis care right now?
Memphis can get in the playoffs since they added 2 teams. Like Memphis,
they're playing hard.
I think they can finish in 9th or 10th. So yeah, they'll want to get the win. They're not, they're not tanking.
But I'm just saying, no, I don't mean that. What I'm saying is when you say like the T-Wolves, they don't care, I get that. But then I say to myself, does Memphis care enough to win by 7? I'm not even thinking about teasing it because there's only one game. I'm thinking in that one game, 7's a lot. again, free throws on the end of the game, and the next thing you know, T-Wolves only lose by like 4. That's just kind of how things happen in weird ways. So, is like, does Memphis care enough to win?
Well, yeah, I think so. And you know what's crazy? I'm looking at Memphis' schedule right now, and I knew they played the Jazz, but three of the last 4 games were against the Jazz.
Yeah.
That's strange. That's like some baseball shit. And then they beat Houston by 10, and Houston's just as bad as Minnesota. Yeah, I think Memphis will cover.
Kev, should we ask Oprah?
I'm going. No, I like the logic. I mean, I was looking at that schedule also, TJ. They got the right before the Jazz series started. They beat Oklahoma City by 9. They beat the Celtics in overtime. They beat the Warriors by 8. So yeah, that's a good one. King, let's mark that down as a potential tease.
It definitely a potential. I like it much better as a tease than I do straight up as Memphis -7.
All right, so we got to find the other half of that.
All right, next game I've got is Thunder at Suns. Suns are 12.5. So again, the Suns care enough to really just lay into the Thunder in this game and win by 13. Make sure they win by 13 down the stretch.
That's a tough number.
Yeah,
it is. That line's so high they discourage you from participating. And you said,
jump time would kill you with this game. It would be like torture. 12.5.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I'll take the points and sit there and hold my nose. I think that's the play. Because Phoenix hasn't shown the ability to blow teams out. Like, they're winning games. I think they're kind of a smoke and mirror 2 seed somehow, but they're I don't know. I haven't observed them really putting their foot on somebody. So no, I think I'd take the points. Even though I can't name 3 guys on Oklahoma City right now. No way.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking though? On the Suns team, who's the tough guy?
Well, Aiton's a tough guy, no? Chris Paul's a tough guy.
You think he assumes that role though in the locker room? Like, he's the big guy, the big.
No, but you know what? You got Jay Crowder over there.
Yeah,
that's Chris Paul's locker room.
That's what I'm saying. Like, other than Chris Paul, Chris Paul's not going to be there forever. He might be the coach in like a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's running that locker room with those young kids. Like, he should be getting more MVP talk for what that turnaround is, because all they did was add him, really.
He's an assistant coach, pretty much, basically.
Oh, he's a boss, yeah.
I think that goes so understated, because he really is coaching them, and he's probably learning how to coach right now. Like, this season was probably like a year on the job in a sense. I'm going to bet you that's how it works, because Chris Paul will definitely become an NBA coach. He's an NBA coach. I believe so.
Do you know how much money Chris Paul makes
right now?
Yeah, this year.
No.
$41.3 million.
Wow.
So Chris Paul's not going to start coaching until they stop writing him checks like that.
Wow.
I never met Chris Paul, but I'm going to assume he likes money.
Yeah. Imagine turning away $41 million. Oh my God.
Go talk to the media every day? Hell no.
All right, wait. I got Bucks and Blazers. Bucks -3.5. So here we go. Did the Bucks care enough to win by 3.5 in Portland? Which I don't like that. That's scared. That doesn't sound right to me. But maybe you guys can convince me otherwise.
Maybe that's the other half of the teaser. Flip the Blazers.
I take the Blazers, and I would make the Bucks have to win by like 7.5. Because I think the Blazers are going to win the game. Never mind anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This is true, because straight up, I'd be inclined to take the underdog again, which is rare.
Yeah, I like the Blazers. Yeah.
If I was going to tease it, I might take extra points. Maybe the line moves a little bit tomorrow. You can get 8 points with Portland at home by 8. No one goes into Portland and blows them out.
Yeah, no, but it's almost double digits. 8's a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess we consider Portland also, and then the last one you have on there, is Lakers. Lakers at Sacramento. Kings
9.5.
What?
Kings 9.5.
Well, you're seeing Kings 9.5.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Kings 4.5. Someone's got
probably 4.5. Kev, I'm writing a marker.
I'm just gonna say Oh
No,
God, I was gonna say.
No,
Take
you write
the-
a marker, and sometimes when you do a 4, it closes up because you didn't make the space wide enough. You don't know. I do.
I was gonna say take that 150 and put it on the Lakers.
You know,
No, it's 4.5. Then, 4.5. But I don't know what teams are playing. Like I know what teams are playing, but I don't know what teams are playing tomorrow.
it just says so much about the NBA regular season, though, when the Kings can be 4.5-point favorites against the Lakers
Yep.
in the second half of the season. And it's like, yeah, so the Kings will probably win this game. They'll probably cover. But is there any question what will happen if these two teams were to play each other in a game that mattered?
That's what I'm saying. For real. You almost want to say if they played for real, the Lakers would kill them. And what's tomorrow?
All right, so I'm gonna use the Kings as the other half of the teaser. So what's the first leg of it?
I'm sorry, Kev?
So I'm gonna take the
lost
King.
the beauty of your handsomeness from back in high school.
So I'm gonna take the Kings as the other leg of the teaser.
Yeah, Blazers in
Sacramento.
hear that? Did you hear that?
No, we said
Whoa, blowouts all over the NBA tonight.
Am I messing with you too much, Kev? You want to know what the thing was, the teaser?
no, I'm not even looking at it. I'm looking at the lines.
Hmm.
I think the first part we said was Grizzlies, right? Grizzlies going for -7s.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do Grizzlies and Kings.
Mm-hmm. Sacramento's playing good right now too. They're like hot. They had a 5-game winning streak. They lost a close one to San Antonio. The Lakers are non-recognizable. That's a safe bet.
What a shame that is. They play games like that. You play games where you just send out like the B team. Like where have you gone? You know what I mean? Like the players back in the day that would just play every game. They wanted to play every game. They wanted just to be out. The Pistol Petes, the guys that didn't make my list. Guys like that. I made a list of people that didn't make my list, by the way. And Pistol Pete was definitely one of them. That guy was like, he was in love with playing basketball. He couldn't wait to shoot. Like, he just couldn't wait to do something physically as he moved. Like, he would never miss a game. Larry Bird wouldn't sit out a game unless he was extremely hurt. He would never take a rest day, a mental day, or rest down the stretch.
John Stockton, over like a 20-something year career, only missed 22 games, and 18 of them were in the same season because he got hurt in the preseason. He missed the first 18 games. So if you look at John Stockton on Basketball Reference, it's 82 games. And that's just showing up. And we don't get it now. And I don't know, these guys back then, they probably played through more injuries than what we're willing to let our guys do now. I'm sure that's part of it. But, yeah, so
is that it, though?
That's how you end up with the Kings favorite against the Lakers.
Why can't they play injured anymore, though?
Well, because they look at it. Would you play injured if you were making $41 million a year and you were Chris Paul? It's generational wealth.
So that's what it is. It's the money that's making them soft.
It's the other side too. The owners look at them as assets now. Like, you don't want to burn down your asset too quickly. The same thing's starting to happen in the NFL. That's why you have running backs by committee. You have like in basketball.
Records won't matter. Records won't matter moving forward. We're saying
no, because you don't want to burn out Zion Williamson because you played him too many games because he's too big for his frame. You'd rather get him 10 years at 65 games a season rather than 6 years at 80 games a season. And, you know.
It's true. We're doing that with starting pitchers in baseball. I mean, that's just the way sports are going right now. And I'm sure these guys study it, and they have nerds that look at this stuff and say after a certain amount, it's a diminishing return, so they stop doing it. It's just frustrating from a fan, and based on what we're doing here as a gambler, it's frustrating too because you don't know, and they don't tell you. It's not like they go into the game saying, "Oh, tonight, this guy's getting rested." They wait till the last minute half the damn time.
Yeah.
There's nothing cool about it either, man. It's just not cool. It's just not cool that they don't play all the games. Like, I lose a little bit of respect for guys when they do that.
I don't rather see them shorten the season.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd rather see, this year's shortened. 82 is a lot of NBA games, and so many of them don't mean
too many. Definitely too many.
I'd rather they played 60 games.
Yep.
let everybody come in the playoffs and okay, fine, we'll just weed out the bad teams in the first week, and that's it. And let's watch some games that matter, because once teams have found their seed, it's like, oh, tonight there's a 30-point blowout. The Sixers are up 20. Detroit's up 27.
Wow,
Detroit's up 27.
Detroit's up, yeah. That my math right? Yeah, 27 against Washington. But like, those are 3 games that are 30-point blowouts. That's not good for the game. Like, that's just not. No one wants to watch that shit.
Who wants to go see it? Yeah, and who's going to see these games?
Right, you're flipping your channel off. Like, I'm a Sixers fan. I would have shut this game off if I was watching it right now.
So, TJ, as we're getting towards the end of the show, I want to bring up something I brought up in the football show, because I wanted to get your opinion on it. It was something that when I saw it, it made my head start to spin. And to Kev, I apologize to having to hear it twice for being on both shows. But that the soccer player spoke in front of the president. I'm not being political. I don't care who the president is. I'm just saying that female soccer player who's really big in the LGBTQ community spoke in front of the president, and it was about inequality, not getting equal pay. So it was weird. She started off by saying all her accomplishments. Megan Rapinoe, talking about like all her championships and her world titles. And I'm going.
She lost to 14-year-old boys at soccer. Yeah, I know who she is.
I'm going, yeah, she's making sense. She's making sense. And then she turns and says, but we deserve the same amount of money as men that are doing the same exact job. Which immediately that thing goes in the back of your head goes ping, because it's like, it's not the same job, not at all. And then she goes on and she's talking about it. And like I was saying, I felt like a lot of people in the room were making it a man-woman thing, when in my head I was making it you don't have anybody come to any of your games. How do you expect to get paid this money? Like, just business-wise, where's this money coming from? Where do you think how are you going to get paid as much as like an NBA guy? Because no one comes to your games. If it's WNBA, I know she's soccer, but it's the same thing. No one comes either to soccer tournaments. You don't know who they are. You don't go. Big deal that they won all the cups. I've never seen them. No offense, not a big deal. It is a big deal. Congratulations, girls, ladies. I just didn't see it. I don't care to see it. You know what I'm saying? How do you expect to get paid the same amount of money when you can't draw, which is what it's all about? At the end of the day, you can't draw butts in seats.
Well,
where do you think the money comes from?
In soccer world, it's a little bit different, because I guess the national teams, the money is all kind of like pooled together. Like, so it's a little bit different. But
all right, but out of college, who makes all the money? The football team, the basketball team, the road team does shit. They get carried. You know what I mean? So it's always like that.
He whispered, I shouldn't say said, because he doesn't talk, he whispers like a frail old man said that on ESPN that women in sports should make the same incentive. It's got to be the most ridiculous fucking idea I ever heard in my life. You got the Lakers and LeBron James make more money in a week than the entire WNBA makes in their whole season. In fact, I made more money today than the WNBA makes in a whole season. You know how I know that? Because the WNBA operates on an absolute loss year after year after year. Their highest paid players make $215,000 a year, Brittany Griner and them girls. That's fine. That's awesome. They don't sell enough tickets on any of those teams. So what happens is, not only does LeBron make $40 million, the money that LeBron is generating in the WNBA is being funneled into the WNBA that absolutely no one cares about, right? So they can have 300 people in the stands at Foxwoods to watch the Connecticut team, whatever their team is called now, and no one cares. So if anything, the players in the WNBA should make less money, and the men counterparts who are paying the fucking bill should make more money. But no one wants to hear that. They say, okay, you're playing basketball and you're playing basketball. And that old man, what's the one that can't talk? Biden. He said that women can do the same things that men can do. Okay, cool. Then why don't we take one of them and stick them in an NBA practice and just watch how humiliating it would look? And you know what the problem is? Outside of that soccer player, you don't hear girl basketball players talk about that equal pay shit. At least I don't. Because game respects game. And like those girls know. Like Brittany Griner knows she's not playing. Candace Parker knows she's not playing against no men. So they understand that.
I don't think it's a better thing because, like, I mean, Serena Williams once said that the 100th man, like the guy in the rankings, the 100th ranked guy could beat her on any day. She's like, it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with how do you not know that you're not drawing fans?
No,
that blows my mind.
It does have to do with being better or as athletic as, though, because they think they're doing the same job and they're not.
It's different sports. They're different sports. It's not the same. It's layups and bounce passes. It's not the same sport.
Like, I don't think that we're doing the same job right now as friggin' Mike Greenberg in the morning on ESPN. Do you?
No.
You know what I'm saying? We're not doing. I'm not doing that job. We're talking about sports. He's talking about sports. We're doing the same thing as he is? No, we're not. And that's about the equivalence between the NBA and the WNBA. Now, when you're in layup lines, the best thing that happens to women's basketball right now is the COVID shutdowns. Because now, for the first time in their life, they have the same amount of fans as an NBA game. So now they're like, wow, look at us. We got the same draw. We need the same money. And that's how long it took.
It's exactly been my thoughts. And I've been yelled at before about this. It's not the same game. They're not playing the same game. I'm sorry. Like, it's just they're built different. We're built different.
It's just not as entertaining. It's just not as entertaining, and that's it. And it's okay to admit that because I like women's basketball. I really do.
Oh yeah, I agree.
This kind of shit is what turns me off from it, though. But if you watch, UConn's got a freshman right now. She's tough. Like, she's the first freshman ever to win Player of the Year in the NCAA. Like, she's that good.
Oh no, there's some dribbling, shooting, stuff like that. There's some extremely talented girls. There's some extremely talented shots. It's just a different game. It's a different game.
Here's what it is. Like, I don't have any problem with women's sports. I'm not like abolish them because they're not men.
No, they're just not the same.
Stay in your lane. That's all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have anything against tennis either. But I don't want to hear nothing about an American tennis player talking about he's not comparable to other athletes that people actually give a shit about. We don't care about tennis in this country. You do your thing, though. I mean, by all means, man, if somebody wants to put you on ESPN, somebody must be watching. But when you can't fill up a high school arena and you're talking about you need to be paid $30 million because you're at 180, you should be happy and making 180, for goodness sake.
So, Kev, how's it feel being in a conversation with two guys that that both think the whole NBA is a sham?
Well, I didn't say anything because we spoke earlier, but my thing is the economics of it. If you really want to solve the problem, draw more fans, get a TV deal, make more money, and the money will come down. That's the way it works. That's it. I don't care about anything else about it.
Stop making it about things that it's not about.
Yeah,
it's about the money. Period. It's just about what you can draw.
Yeah, that's all. That's where the money comes from. That's it. So where else would the money come from? Where would the $30 million a year to make the pay gap equal come from?
That's why it blows my mind, Kev, that it makes it all the way to the White House and it's being talked about on gender pay inequality when it has nothing to do with money.
It's all about money. No, it really is. But I mean, you see this in Major League Baseball. We'll have this discussion at some point. Some of these teams in Major League Baseball don't draw. So when you're saying, how come the Pittsburgh Pirates payroll is half of the Yankees infield? Well, it's because the Yankees are filling up the stadium 81 nights a year, and the Pirates fill up on opening day, or if they give away like freaking
bat night.
Like they have to have like a special, like fireworks, strippers, and a bag of cash.
Yeah,
and they might get 15,000 fans. And but at least in baseball, they're big boys and they understand it.
Yeah.
They understand. But this gender stuff in sports is never going to fly. It's just not, because we're all watching. It's so easy to say there's a gender pay gap in, like, say, the accounting field. We don't know. I don't know. I can watch 2 games on one TV and I can flip back and forth and I can explain to you the pay right there. I can explain it to my 6-year-old. These people pay more because there's 40,000 people there. These people make less because there's 40 people there. And I don't know why it's so hard for people to put their head around that.
And you know what it is? Women don't just grab the ball and leap from the foul line and then dunk it because they don't think they're doing it. It's just because they think that they can't. It's a whole different thing. There's different limitations. You know what? Nothing's better than stay in your lane. Just do what you do and stop comparing it. Here's my point. Stop comparing it to other things and using other reasons for the comparison. Like anytime it goes political or it goes like racial, or it goes from man and women, it's not about any of that crap. It's about the freaking money. At the end of the day, all anyone cares about is what did you draw, what did you bring in.
It's for women's basketball too that they have to be jammed into this topic that they had nothing to do with.
Yep.
They had nothing to do with it. No WNBA players said anything. They never say anything. They got screwed at the NCAA when they didn't give them a weight room at all. Like that's there's no reason to do that. I'm sorry. That's kind of like a slap in the face.
Did you see that?
Has the gear.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
There.
I heard it.
Look, time out. Here's my side of that though. In defense, they're not working out.
Of course.
They're
Come
not
on.
lifting weights.
Of course they are.
No, they're not. Here, listen. They're playing games on Sunday and then on Mondays. I think they practice like 1 or 2 days. Which one of these college girls you think in between that ridiculous schedule that they got going on right now as they travel back and forth every weekend back to their school is pumping weights? Come on, man.
I coach college women. We had the same weight. We had the same amount of weight room time as the men did, and that was in Division III. I can't imagine that UConn is taking it easy.
It wasn't complained about until just like recently, and it wasn't even complained about by one girl. So think about it. Who was using the weights then? I'm trying to tell you, it's because no one was using it and no one noticed it. It was in the same dumb. You see the triangle that they left them on? It was just dumbbells, like in this weird, like.
It looks like when you go to like a shitty hotel on like some third world vacation, and it's like, oh, we got a gym, and you get there, and it's got like
one rack,
and it's got like a. It's like a bicycle. They got an exercise bike, but really it's just a bicycle on a cinder block.
It was a V-shaped thing with just dumbbells going up it and down it. It was like the Bowflex was there. They had the Bowflex.
I was winding down, and I want to make sure I get it off my chest, though.
Good.
Women's basketball went through so much to get, like women's basketball in the early days of it. They had like different rules than our basketball. Like you ever watch it? The court had lines at like the 1/3 mark. It was almost like field hockey or some shit. And the women that if you can get to the WNBA, that's like the best of the best. That's no joke. Yeah. It's not like you don't fake it to get there. And I hate when they get thrown into this bullshit conversation. And it's never the players that are saying it. It's always some ex-player that wants to be on friggin' TV. But women's sports has come so far and given so many opportunities to so many kids to go to school and to have those experiences. I'd hate for it to get, watered down, or I don't know how the right word is not watered down, but I hate
don't compare it to things you shouldn't. You know what I mean?
That's it. And that's it. And women's sports is women's sports and men's sports are men's sports. But the problem is when you have people in the counterculture that want to say that men can be women and we're all the same, then this is the inevitable conclusion. And this is the conclusion right here. Because if men can be women and women can be men, then there's no reason that they shouldn't make the same amount, right? Boom.
All comes down to numbers and cents, right, Kev?
Always, King. And I'm not going to get into it, but Coach TJ, next week or Monday, actually, we're going to talk about the possible new NBA TV deals, which could triple the amount of money that the networks pay them.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the kind of guys that will make ridiculous money when Al Horford has made like $200 million? Can you imagine if Al Horford made $500 million?
Oh, my God.
Al Horford, jeez, bro.
So we got to talk about that and how, like, leading into, I think, 24, 25 or 25, 26, right before that deal kicks in, what free agency is going to be so freaking insane because no one's going to sign a deal that takes them into that new TV money, right? You're going to want to wait to see what the salary cap does. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, isn't this weekend WrestleMania? Oh, no, that's next weekend, the 10th and the 11th.
Next weekend. How about the WWE Network sticking it to me? I went to go I'm in 1991 Royal Rumble, and they were on Peacock, and I was like, I wasn't going to go register for a Peacock subscription.
Peacock is awesome. Dude, let me tell you something.
I got the free one, but then you got to upgrade.
I went to Peacock before I even knew about the WWE deal. Like 4 months ago, I went with Peacock. It's unbelievable. It really is. That's like one of my favorites.
That's the reason. That was my inspiration. Like that's the only place you can get Columbo.
Yeah, he's on there. The Golden Girls. Columbo.
Wait. Yeah, the show Columbo.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter Falk. That's amazing. Yeah, wow.
I've watched them all, but I wanted to rewatch them again because why not? Right? I mean.
So the WWE Network went belly up, and they moved all their content to the Peacock.
Is it all gone?
It's going to be on Peacock WrestleMania. But you know what? They got rid of a lot of controversial WWE stuff. A lot of that stuff is gone from the vault. They won't leave it in there. So it kind of got neutered down. All right, you guys, anything you want to say before we cut it out?
No, I was waiting. Okay, I was waiting for one of your patented transitions. Speaking of neutering down,
yeah, I'm not doing that yet.
No, I'll leave it at that. Just
go over our parlays one more time. I like them.
All right, hold on. I got to get my bet slip up.
TJ, anything you want to say before we wrap out? Before Kid gives the spread the parlay?
We talk. It'll be Monday for fantasy baseball. So we'll have a couple games of the tournament done. I'm looking forward to what Gonzaga does, and that's pretty much where my focus is at right now. Brooklyn giving it to Charlotte. Sixers won.
I've been reading a lot of baseball. That's what I've been doing. Yeah. I'm actually caught up on a lot of teams.
Yeah, we got to. Okay, so tonight I got Nuggets, Clippers over 220.
Yep.
I got the Hawks to win outright, and then the two parlays are Baylor and Gonzaga for Final Four weekend. So Baylor's down to -1, Zags -10, and then I got for tomorrow night Kings tees down to -5, and Grizzlies tees down to -3.
I like them, Kev. Kev, anything else you want to add?
Nope, just looking forward to the weekend off, and I'll come back locked and loaded for basketball on Monday.
That's right. It's weird. We get Sunday off. This will be the first Sunday we don't wake up, do football, and then do paranormal at night.
Nope. Well,
oddly, and then you know what? Off camera, I got to ask you if you can switch your time on Sunday to accommodate a guest for like 5:30 on the 11th, or some date. I don't know. I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, just text. That's fine.
Just one of those odd things.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for checking out www.legitfantasysports.com. We appreciate you liking the videos. Remember to always hit those thumbs up things. You know what? Oddly enough, people keep hitting thumbs down too. So it's like we'll have like 2 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down. It's like, what the hell does that mean?
Mistake.
Appreciate the thumbs up. We appreciate you leaving a comment. This was Legit Fantasy Basketball with the genius Kev and Coach TJ. It's me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. LegitFantasySports.com. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.